Hi guys, we are going to start today in a seated position, so as always either with the legs crossed in front of you or on the shins. You can place the support under the glutes or in between the heels and the glutes. And then rest the hands on top of the thighs, find length through the spine, and then close the eyes. Giving yourself time and space to arrive on the mat. Letting go of the day. Letting go of anything that has happened today or is about to happen. Landing on your mat in this moment. Bringing awareness to the body. To the breath. Finding stillness both in the body and the mind. And now inhale through the nose all the way to the top, starting from the belly, all the way up to the collarbones, and hold. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Hold at the top. And out through the mouth. One more time, inhale. Hold at the top. And exhale through the mouth. And then come back to the natural breath. You can stay with the eyes closed and start adding movement, bringing movement into the spine. So think of cat-cow-like movements. As you inhale, you are opening the chest, lifting the tailbone, widening through the collarbones. And then as you exhale, run the back body, chin to the chest, tuck the tailbone under, and again inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Once again, inhale. And exhale. Then come back through center. And one more in-breath here, finding length through the spine. And one more exhalation. You may start opening the eyes. And then extend the arms above the head. As you exhale, twist to the right. Left hand on the right knee, right hand behind you, and look to the back of the mat. Slide the right shoulder blade to the spine. The crown of the head is reaching up. Inhale. And exhale. On your next in-breath, come back through center, arms above the head. Exhale, twist to the left. Left hand behind you, right hand on the left knee. Opening the chest to the left as the crown of the head is reaching up. Inhale. Exhale, maybe look behind the left shoulder. On your next inhalation, come back through center. And if you are like me in a seated position with the legs crossed, lower the hands on the mat and we are going to meet in a tabletop position. Extend the left leg to the left. The left heel is aligned with the right knee. And then we are going to take a big step with the hands to the front of the mat. Right hip stays on top of the right knee. And with the next exhalation, lower the belly towards the right thigh and the chest to the mat. Stay with the breath. Inhale. And exhale. On your next inhalation, lift the chest. Tuck the right toes under and then send the hips on top of the right heel, belly on top of the thighs, and once again lower the chest to the mat. Inhale. And exhale. Making sure that all of the toes of the right foot are on the mat, including the pinky toe. Just allowing the torso to rest on top of the right thigh. Take one more inhalation here. And one more exhalation. On your next in-breath, lift the right hip from the heel. Tabletop position with the left leg extended to the left. And then step the left knee next to the right knee. Inhale. And exhale here. Step the right foot to the right heel aligned with the left knee. And then big step with the hands to the front of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, lower the belly towards the left thigh. Lower the chest to the mat. And once again, keep breathing. Inhale. And exhale. Tuck the left toes under. You can lift the chest slightly and then start sliding the left hip on top of the left heel. Lowering the belly on top of the left thigh and then lowering the chest, maybe the forehead to the mat. And again, make sure that all of the toes are tucked under. And stay with the breath. Breathe in. And then breathe out. On your next inhalation, make your way into a tabletop position with the right leg extended. And then bend the right knee, place the right knee next to the left knee. And then lower the hips on top of the heels. Interlace the fingers behind the back and extend the elbows. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, guide the hands towards the left hip. And then lower the left ear to the left shoulder, finding length down the right side of the neck. Inhale, extend the arms behind the back. And then as you exhale, guide the hands towards the right hip, lower the right ear to the right shoulder. Find length down the left side of the neck. And then inhale, extend the arms behind the back. Release the hands and make your way into a kneeling position. Hands come on the hips. Elbows are pointing to the back, engage the glutes, and then find your camel pose, lifting the chest to the ceiling, pressing the hips forward. It doesn't have to be the deepest expression of this position as we are just starting the practice. Inhale, start lifting the chest. And then tuck the toes under, lower the hips on top of the heels. Lift the knees from the mat, drop the heels to the mat. And as you make your way into a standing forward fold, extend, interlace the fingers behind the back and extend the elbows. And just hold here. Inhale. And then as you exhale, bend the knees. Lower the hips on top of the heels. Lift the chest, release the hands, drop the knees on the mat. Maybe extend the top of the feet on the mat, hands on the hips. Engage the glutes. And then inhale. Find your back bend camel pose. Stay here for one inhalation. And one exhalation. On your next inhalation, once again, lift the chest. Tuck the toes under, lower the hips on top of the heels. And then lift the knees from the mat, drop the heels, maybe without the use of the hands. As you extend the legs, interlace the fingers behind the back and then extend the elbows, standing forward fold. Inhale. And then as you exhale, release the hands to the mat. Halfway lift. As you exhale, deepen the standing forward fold. And then left hand comes on top of the right ankle. Inhale, extend the right arm above the head. Find the spinal twist in your standing forward fold. The gaze on the right fingers. If you need to place the hand on the shin or somewhere higher on the leg, that's of course an option. You have one more inhalation here. And then as you exhale, lower the right hand on the outside of the left ankle. Inhale. Extend the left arm above the head, twisting the chest to the left. Take one more in-breath. And then as you exhale, release. Once again, inhale, halfway lift. Maybe come on the fingertips or slide the hands on the shins. And then as you exhale, deepen your standing forward fold. On your next inhalation, make your way into a downward facing dog, walking the hands to the front of the mat, keeping the hips lifted. Inhale, find your plank position. Hold here. Inhale. Exhale, drop the heels to the left. Extend the right arm above the head. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, drop the left hip to the mat. The right fingers are reaching towards your feet. On your next inhalation, lift the right arm. And then exhale, lower the right hand to the mat. Rolling into your cobra pose and then lowering on the belly. Pressing the fingertips next to the edges of the mat, engaging the glutes, press the big toes to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest. And then as you exhale, lower. And again, inhale, lift the chest, slide the shoulder blades to the spine. And then as you exhale, lower. Press the hands next to the rib cage, tuck the toes under. And then keeping the knees on the mat, press the hips to the back and then up, making your way into your downward facing dog. Take one inhalation here. One exhalation. Inhale, find your plank position. Shoulders land on top of the wrists, scoop the abs. Then drop the heels to the right and then inhale. Left arm is reaching up, side plank. The toes are pointing to the left. Exhale, lower the right hip to the mat. The left fingers are reaching to the back. Inhale, big circular movement with the left arm. Exhale, lower the left hand under the left shoulder as you drop the left hip to the mat. Cobra. Keep the glutes strong. Exhale, lower everything to the mat. Press the fingertips next to the edges of the mat, the top of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest, engage the glutes, and then exhale, lower. Once again, inhale, lift, pull the shoulders to the back, keep them away from the ears. And then as you exhale, lower. Place the hands on the mat, tuck the toes under, and then shift the hips to the back and up, finding your downward facing dog. And just hold here. Inhale. And exhale. The right hand stays on the mat and then place the left hand on the outside of the right ankle as you look under the right armpit. And if this is too much, you can step the feet a bit closer, but it's not a big step, it's just a tiny step forward with the feet, maybe a bit wider. Otherwise, stay in your downward facing dog stance. You have one more inhalation here. And then as you exhale, lower the left hand to the mat. Inhale. As you exhale, find a twist on the other side. Right hand reaches for the outside of the left ankle and maybe look under the left shoulder. Staying with the breath. Inhale. And then exhale, release the right hand on the mat. On your next inhalation, look to the front of the mat, lift the heels, step or hop in between the hands, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, lower the belly towards the thighs. On your next inhalation, make your way into a standing position, arms above the head, maybe gaze on the fingers. And then as you exhale, lower the hands to the mat. On your next inhalation, halfway lift. Lift the heels from the mat, drop the hips on top of the heels, and then lower the knees to the mat. Make your way into a kneeling position, maybe the top of the feet on the mat, hands on the hips. Find your camel pose on your next inhalation, hips stay on top of the knees. On your next in-breath, lift the chest. Once again, tuck the toes under, drop the hips on top of the heels, lift the knees from the mat, lower the heels to the mat, start extending the legs, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, lower the hands to the mat, step or hop to the back of the mat, find your plank position. Inhale here, engage the glutes, press the hands to the mat, the fingertips to the mat. Exhale, bend the elbows, chaturanga, option to keep the knees on the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Connect to the breath. Inhale. And then exhale. On your next inhalation, look to the front of the mat and then step or hop in between the hands, halfway lift. Exhale, lower the belly towards the thighs. On your next inhalation, make your way into a standing position, arms above the head. As you exhale, hinge from the hips, lower the hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift as you lift the heels. Exhale, lower the hips on top of the heels, lift the chest, drop the knees to the mat, and then make your way into a kneeling position with the hands on the hips. Inhale, find length through the front of the body, engaging the glutes, pressing the hip bones forward. Maybe drop the head to the back. And then on your next inhalation, once again, lift. Tuck the toes under, lower the hips on top of the heels, lift the knees, lower the hands to the mat, extend the legs, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands come back to the mat, step back into a plank position. Hold your plank for one in-breath. And then as you exhale, maybe shift the chest forward, just slightly bend the elbows, chaturanga, inhale, upward dog. Glutes are engaged, just the top of the feet and the hands touching to the mat, and then exhale, downward facing dog. And just hold here. Inhale. And exhale. On your next inhalation, look to the front of the mat and then step or hop in between the hands. Halfway lift. And exhale, lower the belly towards the thighs. Maybe the hands closer to the mat. On your next inhalation, make your way into a standing position, arms above the head. And then as you exhale, lower the palms of the hands together in front of the chest and start hinging from the hips. Spine parallel to the mat. Just hold here. And then sweep the left foot to the back, finding your warrior three. Microbending the right knee. Feel the right toes grabbing the mat, the right heel grounded on the mat, left glute is engaged. Flex the left foot, and then as you start lifting the chest, lift the left leg in front of you, the left leg is extended. Reach with the right hand for the outside of the left foot, and then inhale, open the chest to the left fingers are reaching to the back. If this is too much, the left knee can be bent. The crown of the head is reaching up. Keep opening the chest to the left. Inhale. And then as you exhale, come back through center. Left hand comes to the inside of the left foot. One more inhalation here. Either stay here or exhale. Start lowering the belly towards the left thigh. Inhale. And then as you exhale, sweep the left leg to the back, palms of the hands together in front of the chest. Find your warrior three. Flex the left foot and then step the left foot next to the right foot. Inhale. Find length through the body, extend the arms above the head. And then as you exhale, hinge from the hips. Spine parallel to the mat. We are going to the other side. Shift the weight on the left foot as you sweep the right leg to the back. Find your warrior three. Lower the right hip bone, keep the chest open. The crown of the head reaching forward. Flex the right foot, and as you start lifting the chest, guide the right leg in front of you. Engage the right quad. Inhale. And exhale, lower the left hand on the outside of the right foot, maybe the right knee bends. Inhale, find a spinal twist here. The right arm is reaching to the back. And stay with the breath. You have one more in-breath here. And then as you exhale, release the twist. Right hand comes to the inside of the right foot. Inhale. Either stay or exhale, lower the belly even closer towards the right thigh. Just one inhalation. And then exhale, sweep the right leg to the back, the palms of the hands together in front of the chest. Find your warrior three, square the hips. Flex the right foot. And then lower the right foot next to the left foot. Inhale. Extend the arms above the head. And then as you exhale, hinge from the hips, lower the hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower the hands to the mat and then step or hop to the back of the mat. Find your plank position. Bend the elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Just stay with the breath. Inhale. And exhale. On your next in-breath, look to the front of the mat. And then step, hop in between the hands, halfway lift. And then exhale, deepen the standing forward fold. On your next inhalation, lift the chest. Halfway lift once again and then lift the heels. Drop the hips on top of the heels. Extend the arms in front of you, lift the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, drop the heels and the hips to the mat. Make your way into your Navasana. So the shins can be parallel to the mat. Maybe hands under the knees. Pull the shoulders to the back. You can also extend the arms, you can also extend the legs. So breathe in here. And then as you exhale, lower the feet to the mat, flex the feet. Inhale, lift the arms next to the ears, flex the feet. As you exhale, hinge from the hips and then either place the hands on the shins or grab to the big toes. Keeping the chest open, the chest is tractioning forward. You can always keep the knees slightly bent. Inhale. And exhale. On your next inhalation, lift the chest. Shoulders slide on top of the hips and then the fingertips are next to the thighs. Point your toes. Lean slightly to the back. You're scooping the abs, closing the space in between the lower ribs and the hip bones, creating space in between the shoulder blades. And then we are going to lift the left leg and lower. To the right, lift the right leg and lower. Left and lower. Lift the right one and lower. One more on each side. Lift and lower. And once again, we are going to lift and lower, this time both legs if possible. Otherwise, stay with one leg at a time. If you can, lift and lower both legs. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Hold here. Inhale, extend the arms above the head. And then as you exhale, lower the hands under the shoulders, fingers pointing forward. Inhale, engage the glutes and then make your way into a reverse plank position. The toes are reaching for the mat, engage the pelvic floor muscles. Keep opening the chest, inhale. And then as you exhale, lower the hips to the mat. Left fingers point to the back of the mat. Roll the inside of the right foot and the outside of the left foot to the mat, so drop the feet, the toes to the left. Inhale, lift yourself into a side plank. Hold here. Inhale. And then exhale, lower the hips to the mat. Come back through center. Inhale, extend the arms above the head. And then as you exhale, lower the right hand behind you, right fingers pointing to the back, drop the toes to the left, to the right. Inhale, lift the right hip from the mat as the left arm extends above the head. Inhale. And then as you exhale, release the hips to the mat. On your next inhalation, extend the arms above the head, flex your feet. And once again, forward fold. Option to stay here or place the right hand on the outside of the left foot and then inhale. Lift the chest slightly and open it to the left as the left fingers are reaching to the back of the mat. So we are finding a twist here. Take one more inhalation. And then exhale, release. This time maybe left hand on the outside of the right foot. Inhale, open the chest to the right as the right arm is reaching to the back of the mat. Stay with the breath. Inhale. And then exhale, release. Find your forward fold. And take one more inhalation here. One more exhalation. On your next inhalation, lift the chest. Lean slightly to the back, scoop the abs, extend the arms in front of you, and then see if you can lift both of the legs into your Navasana. If you need, of course, bend the knees. You can make your way there in any way that feels possible. And either stay here or place the hands on your calves, and then start guiding the shins towards your forehead. Just hold here, inhale. And then exhale, release. We meet in a Navasana. Inhale here. As you exhale, start making your way on your back. Lower the hands next to the hips. And then we are lifting the hips. Making your way into a Halasana plow pose. So the feet land behind the head. Hips on top of the shoulders. And you can interlace the fingers here. Extend the elbows. The top of the feet on the mat. Keep lifting the hips. Inhale. And exhale. Keep breathing. Take one more in breath. And then as you exhale, lower the hands to the mat. Start rolling the back on the mat. And then bend the knees. Pull the knees to the chest. Heels to the glutes, and then lower the feet on the mat. We're going to make our way into a bridge pose. So on your next inhalation, start lifting the hips. The feet will be as wide as the hip bones, kneecaps tractioning forward. And then start lifting even higher, almost walking the shoulders underneath your body. Maybe once again interlacing the fingers, guiding the chest towards the chin, engaging the glutes. Almost as if you could press the heels to the mat and then towards the body. Just hold here, inhale. And then exhale, release the hands and start lowering the spine bone by bone, vertebra by vertebra on the mat. And then walk the feet so they are as wide as the edges of the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, allow the knees to drop towards each other. And then open the palms of the hands to the ceiling, making your way into your Shavasana. Allow the body to relax. Allow it to become heavy. And once again, come back to the breath. Then if at any point you prefer to extend the legs for your Shavasana, then feel free to do that as well. Just settle in and stay with the breath. Stay with yourself. As always, if you want to stay in your Shavasana longer, if you need more time to rest, then that's always an option, so take your time. And if you feel ready to start transition into a seat, then start bringing gentle movements into the body, so maybe moving the wrists or the ankles. Maybe stretching on the mat or pulling the knees to the chest. You can roll on the side, making your way into a fetal position, or you can rock up gently when you feel ready and landing in a seated position on the mat. Maybe with the legs crossed this time. Eyes closed. Inhale. And exhale. And we are going to once again take a deeper inhalation through the nose. And out through the mouth. Let it go. And you may place the palms of the hands together in front of the chest. Take a moment to thank yourself for this practice. And thank you. Namaste.